About maybe moving on to our next topic that could be conspiracies. I think we need to put our tin hats on for this topic so that we don't get infected.
Yeah, tin hat time, boys.
That was awful.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, I think a tin hat protects you from all the crazy conspiracies in the world.
I didn't know that.
No, yeah, if you watch Science, they wear tin hats.
I was wondering what was going on with the tin hats. I won't lie to you guys. Like, wow, I thought it was an alien theme. I wanted to join the here.
It's not because of the aliens they can't tap into your mind now.
Yes.
Their mind control.
Bro, you guys clearly haven't watched X-Men. Xavier's got like a shield on his head.
Okay, so I think we're going to talk about a few conspiracies at the moment, right? I think we should maybe start with the most obvious one, which is aliens. Do they exist? Where do they come from? What is an alien? What do they look like?
Yeah, for a very short topic, they exist. That's it.
They don't exist.
Fucking hell, we've got someone contradicting or conflicting.
I've already debunked the theory. Why do you think they exist?
Guys, I'm going to have to take this thing off.
It's very irritating. Mine's also
Look, it falls off.
I'm going to Kobe mine out the room. I don't care about the
We need a
aliens.
bin.
Oh, he's scrapping the tinfoil hat already.
I was almost in. Trust
Oh,
you
no,
can get
mine's
it.
lovely.
You're going to rock it.
I'm gonna rock it.
There we go.
With you,
There we go. Thank you.
Okay.
So aliens exist because
Why?
I'm not gonna start a speech about it.
Yeah, this sounds like I have a
watched
dream.
So many fucking videos, especially YouTube videos regarding proof of aliens. And then the things that did it for me was a documentary called Unacknowledged. You can catch it on Netflix. And something about, it was a Bob Lazar documentary on Netflix as well. Bob Lazar used to work on fucking space shuttles. The alien spacecraft. He used to reverse.
He used to work on alien
He
spacecraft.
was at Area 51, but there's like a portion of Area 51, I can't remember what it exactly was, where they would reverse engineer the spacecrafts, and spacecrafts, how they would travel was that they would actually put a gap in gravity and be able to shoot.
This hat obviously didn't fucking work.
I'm thinking this dude that you watched took acid.
No. If you check out Bob Lazar, he's been around for ages and he's been getting in shit for this.
Tell me this though. Why is every alien in America?
It's not.
Why is every single
That's a
alien in
good
America?
point.
No, but no one wants to watch like a Puerto Rican going, hey,
I've actually
got to them.
I've seen one video in Brazil.
One in Brazil.
In that
And
argument.
also, how do you say, what about the Roswell incident? That was an actual alien spacecraft.
In
Tell us
America,
about the Roswell.
These Americans have just made everything up.
Is Roswell in America or is it Mexico? New Mexico.
Roswell. I don't know.
Roswell.
Tell me about Roswell.
It was
in
Roswell.
the early
Where
not the early 19th, more the
is
late
Roswell?
19th century. Massive spacecraft crashed into Earth, and they apparently found dead bodies, and there's like grainy ass footage which is allegedly from it, showing like aliens getting I don't know, and like stretched it out of the aircraft, and they supposedly did interviews with aliens, and they kept them.
They did interviews with the aliens.
Yeah.
How did they communicate with them?
So it's in New Mexico. Sorry, I'm going back, but it's in New Mexico.
Okay.
So it's still in the USA.
No, New Mexico is fuck, that's Mexico City. Sorry.
Okay, but yeah. So I don't know. My personal opinion is that if there were aliens and they did spot these fucking things, we would have had proper solid proof that we go visit this alien body, or why not? Because the government's hiding it.
The rumors are that the government is scared. Yeah, my community that I'm in, the alien community, that the government's scared to release this knowledge to the public because the public will freak the fuck out. No, but I think the government's just using the aliens just to sort of do their own thing. They don't need us to know yet. Maybe
when do they want us to know?
Maybe they're reverse engineering their fucking spacecrafts to fight a war. What war? Well, you got an alien spaceship, bro. You go bomb North Korea with that. Choose through gravity. Just
As a professional boxer, do you believe in aliens?
By the way, I explained it so terribly. Just watch Unacknowledged and Bob Lazar, and then you'll be convinced.
Well, I'm gonna get technical here. It's one of those things which I won't believe in until I see it. A lot of things are edited on social media and media these days. But a huge argument is I've seen a lot of things on science and stars, and like the sun isn't even the biggest star out there. There's a whole bunch of stars that are not discovered yet, and there's a whole bunch of stars which are like 10 times the size of the sun.
So there must be.
So the universe is huge. So like, is it a possibility? Yes.
Yeah. So here's my question, right? So that's the arguments of there are so many other planets that are habitable, or you can habitate there, like humans are.
Why would there be so many planets?
Why would there be? And there should be life statistically, right? But from the planets that we can see, because I think they put the Kepler space station out or whatever they went and looked like deep into space, and they found all these planets, but they haven't found any life on any of these planets that are habitable.
No, they're burrowers, bro.
They stay underneath the ground.
Yeah, you see, I can't answer that, but
statistically, we should have found one other planet with
but also,
life on it.
Why is there so much on it? Like, there's all these various footages of alleged footage.
Yeah, it looks like a 4-year-old's drawing these footages.
No, there's
this footage.
So it's a huge thing. Why are so many people discussing it? Why do so many people believe? How can someone do a whole documentary on it?
I could make a whole documentary on fucking pawpaws, bro.
But pawpaws exist.
But I'm saying it's like I could make a documentary out of anything. And the big thing for me is on YouTube, anybody. I mean, if my neighbor's some crazy stalker, he can go make a random documentary about aliens, and people will start believing the shit that he spews out. That guy that he did the 200 proofs video, which we'll get into after this, the flat Earth video, but he was some random bloke who made a video on 200 proofs why the Earth is flat, and he was just some random guy that was bored and made a documentary that people believe now because they watch YouTube. YouTube isn't very reliable. Be careful what you watch on YouTube for what's truth and what's fact, you know. I think a lot of these documentaries are a lot of bullshit, yeah.
So it runs on the fence, and then you two non-believers.
I'm a non-believer, bro.
I feel like you just got fathered.
How does that mean?
I don't know, I'm your dad now.
Well, that's why I like conspiracy theories and especially with aliens and UFOs, I think that there's such you kind of want to believe it as well, and that's why it's a big open field, and there's a lot of unanswered questions, and that's why it's so attractive to people.
Yeah, I should have just done,
but I don't believe it.
Like, bought you. I should have made it.
You should have brought us an alien. You should have brought us an alien. That's what we needed. We needed a real alien.
It's stuck at Area 51. No,
you would have to go to America for that.
That's why they're trying to storm that bitch, bro. But look, I think for me personally, I don't want aliens to be real either. That just complicates life way too much, bro. Now there's other fucking forms of life out there. I don't want to have to worry about what they're getting up to if they're going to fight us. So personally, I just don't want to believe that they exist either. So for me, it's easier as my mind. It's us on Earth, done. You know, I have way too many things that I think about here in my life. So like aliens, I don't really pay much attention to it. I'm like, okay.
There's one alien interview. He was telling us that we must stop fighting with each other and stuff, otherwise the world's going to be doomed.
Okay, who was that? Elon Musk.
I think it was Paul.
Was it Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, I think that one was fake, but
okay. Okay, so I did touch on it a bit now. Flat Earth society. Do we believe the
start? Who wants to start?
Okay, the world. Okay. Let's go with Fraser first. I want to see your side.
Seeing as though you actually don't believe in aliens, I'm assuming you think the world's flat as well.
No, we think it's round.
Okay, then I have to agree with the non-conspiracy theorists here.
Okay, yeah. So,
you're gonna have to tell me more about this guy. So he just said that the Earth is flat, but it makes no sense because everyone knows.
There's a big group of people that believe.
A huge movement.
It's not one fella that just said, "Hey, the world is flat."
So you're telling me every single person that's gone to space and
so they're saying that's all fake. They're saying that's all fake.
Face of the Earth.
Yeah, they're saying that's all fake.
Yeah. No, guys, I can't believe that one.
Yeah,
because at least the aliens, there's one or two videos I've seen which look really cool, or it's American planes like warfare and stuff like that. But
will you elaborate or just provide some of the reasons why the guy said that the Earth
so there's
flat?
a lot of reasons, right? Just the big one is that the world is spinning the whole time, right? And he's like, why do we not feel the spinning? He's like, would you not feel it? And then what happens if the world stops? Like, we all go at like 1,000 miles per second. Okay. The other thing that he said was that whenever you look at the horizon, it's always flat.
But then that can be counted if you look at the ocean and you're watching a ship go that way. The ship disappears.
Guys, if the Earth was flat, how does the sun disappear?
So they say that the sun and the moon rotate the whole time, but because of the distance,
so they move, but the Earth doesn't move.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
With this 200 proofs
proofs. Go watch the reasons, and then go watch
why.
people. Sorry to interrupt you. Go watch the video, 200 proofs, and then go watch how they debunk the proofs because it's so funny. But carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Like this whole 200 reasons as to why the Earth is flat. Every single one of them is quite easily proven wrong.
Yeah.
So,
I watched an interesting thing with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's my fucking favorite brew. I love that oak. And he didn't even want to entertain the topic. I think it was Joe Rogan that said to him, listen, we need to chat about flat earth society. He's like, fuck off, man. I'm not talking about this shit.
Dude, because I've seen someone actually debunk flat earth society with basic shadows.
That's where I was going to.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson basically said. He says, because the sun shines on the earth and then the moon gets... The shadow reflects onto the moon, essentially.
Huh?
Yeah, and then the moon has a circular shape. Dude, it's science. I don't know how to do it. But
Science, bitch.
There's something to do with the shadows, how they reflect, and it's always in a spherical shape.
Okay.
It's never... If it was a flat earth, it could be a shadow on the moon that's just a thick line.
Well, I'm sold way after that explanation. The earth is round.
Yeah, this was my... I changed my mind. It's flat, actually.
It's actually flat.
I won't lie, I got lost as well.
This was my suggested category, and I have failed.
Yeah. I should have been like that guy from the Joe Rogan podcast and refused to talk about that. I'm not joking. It made no sense to me.
I'll just keep quiet in the corner for the rest of this.
Yeah.
but it's mind-boggling as
But people
just
believe it.
doesn't make.
Yeah, you don't really have to... I mean, I also watched... It was fucking hilarious. It was... They put these YouTubers, they put Flat Earth Society believers and scientists in the same room.
And they
were like interviewing them.
Yeah, and
that's
they take these random fucking interviews that they found somewhere on the web, put in their documentary, and they make their own documentary because anyone can upload anything to YouTube. So you can put whatever you want on there.
But a good point that was made by one of the scientists, he said that with science, you find all these facts and you come to a conclusion. With the Flat Earth Society believers,
you don't find anything.
They've got this conclusion that the Earth is flat, and they pick at certain pieces of evidence that supports it. They don't, and then they ignore what they want to ignore.
Most of which are just either blatant lies or just a complete misunderstanding of how gravity works in general and, you know, the science behind all that.
Yeah. And the big question is, why would we lie about the Earth being
round? What is the benefit out of it? What is the benefit of convincing the whole world that it's round? I think it's just a silly argument. Okay.
Yeah, we went on way
Let's
too
go
long.
to-
I'm really glad it's ending. I was going to say, can we please get the next conspiracy?
So let's maybe go into something that I think is maybe a bit more believable, just because there's a few things that I saw that are a bit suspicious. Is 9/11 an inside job?
Wow.
Can you guys stop, please?
So for me, right?
Yo.
I don't think any government would want to do that to their country, right? But when I think of it, and I didn't do physics in high school or that kind of shit, you know, I'm not a scientist. But when you hit a building, let's take this pole for example, and a plane crashes into the building here, why would the bottom half collapse like the 9/11 buildings
There
did?
was also an explosion before the plane hits.
Okay, the explosion I think might be a bit of...
Okay, I'm going to start this one. Out of nowhere. I believe in that one.
Really?
I think there's just too much money in
We have a conspiracy
the stock
theorist in
exchange.
here.
And
I'm with Ray.
from all the evidence I've seen, like some of America's like top, I don't know what they're called, like dynamite or explosive engineers, they said that building fell perfectly straight down, which
Like
was
a demolition.
impossible. Like it
Yes.
was like a demolition project. And like, I don't know why, but a lot of people do stupid things in this world for money. Like money does run the world. And if money is the source, I think it's
what
true.
it was to justify a war on Iraq or that area, the Middle East, basically, and then
there's
oil.
more conspiracy theories on poppy, which is heroin, and oil. I've heard
Exactly. So I think that the
Puppy, I thought that was the protection of...
Sorry, listen, we fucking.
I don't know lawyers.
Tits and I.
No law degree,
Podcast of two lawyers and others.
It's a hectic conspiracy theory to believe in, but I watched Zeitgeist, the movie. You must also give it a watch. Apparently, that movie.
You told me to watch Swiss Army Knife, and that was Swiss Army Man. Terrible. That was fucking horrible.
Terrible.
He told me to watch the same one, and I haven't watched it yet. But I'm glad I haven't watched it. He's given me some other ones which are like 7 or something, like 7 Psychopaths. You gave me. You got a weird one.
You fucking knows. Swiss Army Man was a spiritual and emotional journey. It was funny, it was delightful, and also I'm never going to forgive you for Cabin in the Woods dislike.
That's the best thing I've ever heard of.
Movie.
Cabin in the Woods.
It was a great movie.
It was terrible.
It wasn't.
It wasn't very good.
I did see a list. We had
people loved it.
I saw a list of the top 100 best movies of like this generation or something, or this decade or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was in there
because you guys don't appreciate that kind of horror.
Dude, I just didn't understand it. Fuck, I was so confused, bro. I was like, why are they
I
all just
watched
like,
it.
don't even
But
bother.
isn't the Swiss Army Knife like your favorite movie of all time? You told me.
Okay, Swiss Army Man, guys.
Swiss Army Man.
And I mean, if I tell you the plot of the movie, it sounds ridiculous, but it's basically old Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. He's a washed-up farting corpse who.
I'm with you guys already.
Another guy uses as like a Swiss Army knife. He can do anything.
So Ryan, this guy uses a dead body as a Swiss Army knife because the Swiss Army knife is obviously supposed to be able to do anything. Yeah,
tool.
He uses a dead body as a Swiss Army knife. It's ridiculous.
If anyone watching this,
how did he use scissors?
Comments, put it in the comments.
Watch it and then just fucking support me here because
please put it in the comments.
How did he use
scissors? If fucking Swiss Army knife is good or bad. Okay,
you use the legs for scissors.
This got weird. PG.
Okay, so we got a bit off topic there, but let's go back to 9/11 being an inside job.
Yeah.
Everyone's opinion, thoughts.
Okay, there was also the lack of footage on the Pentagon. That's a huge thing. Because remember, a plane also crashed into the Pentagon simultaneously.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people are recording
grainy ass security camera footage that doesn't show any plane crash. It looks like an explosion.
Okay.
And then another thing was that there was a World Trade Center number 7. So it was a building in the vicinity of the World Trade Centers that just collapsed as well, that no one spoke about, like a demolition.
Yeah.
And I think they said it was a fire, or they justified it as a fire, burnt it down, but it literally just dropped.
Also, yeah, we also saw something on that World Trade Center number 7 as well, where they were saying they were reporting on the fact that it had come down, but it hadn't actually come down.
Yes, I saw that. There was one of those what do you call it? Governors of
that crazy guy. Yeah, he's fucking crazy, bro. Have you guys seen what he looks like?
Dude.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a governor. He looks
It doesn't look like someone I'll take information from and trust it, bro. You know?
Yeah, he was saying that like even BBC was recording about this World Trade Center number 7 going down, but it hadn't happened yet. Which is hard to believe that they'd get the news organizations involved in such a
I don't know.
Super dodgy though.
But also
suspicious.
But also for 9/11, if I remember, they said like the steel beams, they were cut in a certain way that couldn't have resulted from an airplane. Like they had been an engineer had like a construction worker had taken a cutting device to it. So to assist with the fall, basically, because they were still sticking out the ground slightly when it crumbled.
I think it was terrorism, because terrorism happens all the time, and I think this was just another case of terrorism. I don't think anyone got the fucking hell. Like, how do you get those people in the plane to actually?
I don't think they knew about it.
Of course, there was an element of terrorism.
Yeah.
Involved. Okay, but how was it an inside job?
So
the terrorists in the plane, they knew. They went on it. They knew they were gonna.
This is a big rabbit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But then maybe they. Yeah, no.
Going onto the plane is a different story. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but they were like, "Listen,
that is my worst nightmare, bro. You guys know me with flying,
another
bro.
thing to think about is like I saw this random video. You guys are gonna laugh at me on YouTube where like all the cartoons that show prior to the 9/11. Going down, like Johnny Bravo. There's one picture of Johnny Bravo in the background. There's one the Twin Towers on fire. All the rappers, Biggie Smalls I don't know how the song goes, going down like the World Trade or something like that. Like a lot of the singers even sang about it. It's in a lot of cartoons. It's just weird. How I don't know.
It's strange.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is that I don't think it was an inside job.
Okay, I'm leaning towards inside job.
Me too.
I'm leaning plausible inside job.
So we got 3
that's a
inside
good
jobs.
one,
yeah.
Me, I just think it was terrorism.
Yeah.
So I'm back on the winning team again. Thanks, guys.
Not with the Swiss Army, man.
Okay.
Just watch it, X. Watch it.
Okay, so South Africa isn't well known for a lot of like conspiracies or something along those lines. You know, we actually don't have these kind of things like the 9/11 inside job. And that's another thing that Mark was saying is why are all these conspiracies, all these alien, why is it all happening in America? These people are just fucking crazy,
Good
man.
point.
You know?
Because our government makes it very
Yeah.
obvious.
So then,
Next to it.
listen to how fucking crazy this is. There's a thing called the Mandela Effect, right? So what this effect basically is, and I hope I explain it perfectly.
It's like false memory.
I was actually going to
It's
say,
like-
I think we have like Mandela conspiracies. I was thinking
yes.
that in my head.
There is a
when you said
conspiracy,
that.
but this is called the Mandela Effect, right? So how this works is that the whole world apparently thinks that Mandela died in prison. And for us, that sounds like the stupidest thing ever because we knew he came out of prison, he became our president. And for us, it's like, we knew the guy. It was like, sure, ta-ta, we saw you, bro. Like, you were leading the country, doing really well. You know, so we like, these people are fucking crazy. Like, why did they think that Mandela died in like 1994 when he actually got released and
Well,
became...
they said 1980 was when he died,
Yeah,
and
so
then
something-
1991 some people believe he died as well.
So it was like 2 different dates. Yeah,
Didn't
but people
realize it
thought he
was that long,
died
yeah.
way earlier than he did when he actually
Yeah.
died in 2013, right? So they call it this effect where your brain sort of just fills in these gaps.
It's
of
I
like-
think if I remember correctly, it's called the false memory.
Something like that, right? Where
conspiracy.
they just learned about Mandela and then the story ended there for them. Like he went to prison, he was a political, and he became president or something. And then for them, they just filled it in with the gaps, or there was probably a news article that surfaced or something that spread this wide rumor that Mandela actually died, right?
Yeah.
And for me, what I'm saying is like, there's this effect, and even if you YouTube it, you'll see there's a lot of people speaking about it. But for me, it's like, this is the dumbest example because we know this guy, bro. Well, we don't know him personally.
No,
I
but
wish-
some South Africans, I think it was actually a South African woman who coined it. She was like, no, it's
Mandela
fucking a
effect.
guy, bro. And everyone's like, no,
where the
no.
hell
No,
did
well,
that
she
from?
was just probably crazy. She needs to go to some
yeah,
institute.
Some people are saying like it's
She
a
needs to go to
shift
America
in,
and jump on the conspiracies there.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's like a shift in dimensions and all
So what a
sorts
lot of
stuff
people
like
related
that.
to, right? And that's what I said to Mike. For me, I grew up speaking Afrikaans and then I learned English, right? So for me, the word available, right? I have to think about it really hard when I want to say it correctly, but I always think there's a D in it.
Well, you just nailed it now.
No,
Just
thank
big
you.
ups.
Yeah.
Round of
There's the
applause.
clap
There's the
again.
clap. So for me, honestly, when I say it without thinking about it, I say available. There's a D in it, right? Because that's how I was taught and that's how I always think. When I first found out that there's no D in available, I was like, this is wrong. I think I had an argument with someone. I was like, you dummy, you spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, I didn't spell it
Yeah.
wrong. But I think it's just that effect of believing something so hard in your mind to be true,
Yeah.
and it's not. And you
When it's
actually,
not.
and when you find out, you're like, holy shit, that's quite crazy. You
Okay,
know?
well, here's one for you as well. The Monopoly Man. Does he wear a monocle? The one-eyed thing or not?
I actually heard about this, Bruce. So I know the answers. So I'm not going to say anything.
Yo, I'm going to go with yes because I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, sounds about right to me. Yeah.
Nope.
He doesn't.
Doesn't.
It's
No.
all something that people made
Is the
up.
Monopoly Man a real man?
Okay, so you just took a wild guess there. Just the logo, like the guy on the picture.
Yeah.
He does not wear a monocle. The guy with the hats
Wow.
and all that.
I thought he would.
Yeah, you see, so it's sort of the saying, like, people believe things to be a certain way, that he wears that little monocle, but
But I know this is off topic, but then it's also like media and stuff because with boxing there's sponsorships and stuff like that. And one day I actually queried like, are the sponsorships this effective? And the person got back to me. He's big into marketing and stuff. And Coca-Cola, I forget if it was even in the 1800s or early 1900s, they were the biggest soft drink producers. So they decided, why should we freaking advertise and stuff like that? So for 6 months, they stopped advertising.
Yeah.
And Pepsi jumped on board because they doubled their funds into marketing because they knew Coca-Cola wasn't... Because, Coca-Cola wasn't going to advertise. And to this day, Pepsi's the number one sold drink in America and Coca-Cola is still number one around the world. Coca-Cola learned. Because of that, they say that Coca-Cola is still trying to catch up to those 6 months that they stopped.
Just from stopping marketing.
So then,
crazy.
going back to that, if we can use that, we in South Africa, they can watch media and be influenced by media and stuff like that.
It's obviously how the media portrays everything and what you actually see and learn.
Do you guys remember the monkey Curious George?
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it a lot.
about it.
Vaguely.
Does he have a tail or not?
Well, he's a monkey, so I'd guess he had a tail.
Okay, well, yeah, we don't really know him, but
Yeah, I hardly watched the show, so
I
I
think he
can't
was a
give...
chimp,
Yeah.
but he didn't have a tail.
So what? Chimps don't have
It was
tails?
just no, it's just
Another
a thing
example,
that,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
initially, it doesn't say, for example, the monocle man.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a monocle, but then here's a good one. With Star Wars,
Yeah?
you say, Luke, I am your father. It's
Yeah.
no, I am your father, because
He doesn't even say Luke.
he doesn't say Luke.
That's
Because
fucking
he says
crazy.
you killed my father, and he said, no, I am your father.
That is
And that is a
crazy,
misconception.
man.
Bro.
Wow.
So only like, I don't know, the guys that are true fucking Star Wars fans picked it up, and then
Yeah.
obviously, and also you get that
yeah.
Silence of the Lambs. That's hello, Clarice.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
I don't know Silence of the Lambs at all.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it in The Office probably when they put the medical aid course that they do.
Yeah.
This-
that's
yeah.
okay. That was hilarious.
And
So
he
the
turns
office,
around
that
with the
little, yeah. Yeah, that's the best thing ever, bro.
Clarice. Yeah, no, so it's good evening, Clarice.
Yeah.
But it's just an example of
Yeah, of how these things,
Yeah,
you actually
interesting,
trick
dude.
your mind. You trick your mind into believing things that
I
might
think
not
the
be there or whatever.
Star Wars one is the
It's the
craziest
best
one.
example
big
for
one,
people,
dude.
yeah.
That was chills.
Are you trying to
that
say
is
that
what
we're
this-
wrong about the Twin Towers now? This is what's happened.
No, it's just another effect conspiracy that actually relates back to Homer.
The
But
Twin
it's
Towers are
also-
probably still up, but we just
Yeah.
like, oh fuck, first memory, Twin Towers went down in 2001.
yeah, that's crazy.